Welcome back, everyone. This is Arafellin playing Magical Bringer Korona the movie. Last time we looked at the epilogue, with Ryan crashing at Subaru's place. Now we have this other thing, Noel Kara no Chosenjo, or a letter of challenge from Noel. Who you see right there? My dearest Korona, didst enjoy the Demon Realm? My apologies for such ado when thou went to the trouble of traveling here. I regret not showing proper hospitality thanks to the fuss over the comet. And so, I prepared thee some entertainment. Most fortunately, Subaru Yoshiyumi, Yuka, and Levia are also cooperating and await their places with my subordinates. 'Tis a mite dangerous a game, but none of you are like to die. I await in the deepest depths. Enjoy the labyrinth beneath Belzebuth Castle. And do keep in mind, thou canst not return to the human world without me. Signed, the Demon Lord Noel de Belzebuth. So I forgot to rescale the text to make it not full width, but in any case, once you've viewed the letter of challenge from Noel, this other card appears here, the DanDan Dungeon Daibouken. Or roughly the Great On and On Dungeon Adventure. These all start with the Da sound, DanDan Dungeon Daibouken. Anyway, this brings us to a new opening screen to an extra game that is contained within the game. We'll start with, yes, I clearly didn't bother to get around to translating this, but from the beginning we have a continue option, we have the manual, and we have return to go back to the main menu. Let's start with the manual, give this a quick overview, similar to what I did with the pamphlet, but we'll make it a little faster. Start off, it's a dungeon game, little fun, courtesy of Noel. Rule number 1, the game is not over until you beat Noel. Rule number 2, you're not allowed to fly over obstacles, and rule number 3, survival not guaranteed. There's our basic controls here, these are kind of important. You have up to move forward, left turn left, right turn right, down to turn around. We use, instead of mouse and the regular controls the game has, this uses more RPG Maker style controls where the Z key is to select and examine things, X is to cancel out close windows, and C is to open the menu, and then space to view your map. And during battle, up, down, left, right, change selection, Z to select, X to cancel. And you can hold the Z button to skip through text. As you can probably see from what we're seeing already, this is an RPG-style dungeon exploration thing. Then we briefly explain the objects. We have walls, doors, stairs up and down, signposts, treasure boxes, vending machines where you can buy stuff, rest areas where you can rest and save, and the map, which helps you find your way around. First, you have to find the map first, and it will only show places where you've actually been. You have on the menu, there's an examine command, which lets you look at things more closely. You have items, equipment, skills, status, item and monster dictionaries, compendiums, whatever you want to call them. Monster one is normally called a bestiary. You can view the manual again from there. You can exit out of the game. It will show in the bottom right how many coins you have. The status screen shows what you'd normally expect from an RPG-style status screens. You have levels, you have experience, HP and MP, any status effects are below that. Attack, defense, agility, spirit, and luck as your stats. Equipment in the top right, your skills below that. Beneath that, each character has a unique ability that takes effect just by having them in the party. And equipment and magic. You can switch your equipment around, you can check what your skills are, you can use some of them out of combat, mostly healing stuff. The resting areas, that's where you can save, load, change your party configuration once you have party to change. Battle, you run into monsters, you fight monsters, you either beat them or you get beaten by them. If you win, you get experience and coins. If you lose, it's game over, you have to load for your last save or start over. The item and monster collections, that shows all the items you found and more details about them. It shows all the monsters you encountered and more details about them. Oh, I can't take the mouse cursor off that without it hiding, but For monsters, you'll notice there's some question marks to the below and left of the toad there. Those are the items it can drop. Items that are dropped will show up, but only after that monster has actually dropped that item. And this last thing here gives you some general advice. The first thing is something on an empty stomach. Basically, they're items categorized as food. If you eat them, you'll heal. It's just saying if you're getting hurt, eat stuff. Second point of advice, just save. Save early, save often. Standard RPG type advice. Third point, never hurts to be prepared, bring plenty of healing items. And the fourth point is exploration isn't just walking. You can have hidden doors, you can have fake walls, you can have secret passages. There are various tricks and traps that it doesn't mention here, like warp traps, things that fall on your head and hurt you. All sorts of stuff like that. So while I have no intention of doing a full playthrough at this time, maybe I'll come back later and do it. Let's just get started to see what goes on here. Now here we start off in the cathedral that's in the castle basement. This is the entrance to the labyrinth. Noel, or Rhyme rather, mentioned it when she was giving Korona the tour back in Act 2, I believe. So you have 5 options here. There is Rest, which recovers your health and magic and it cures any status effects. Save, lets you save. Load lets you load. Note it will save the date, time, and what floor you're on, but you can't otherwise give it names or anything like that. There's no screenshot or other things to help you see what it is. There's party arrangement, but with no other party members, you can't really do anything with it. You cannot take Korona out of the group, which it tells you there if you try. And that's the case even when you get other party members. You always have to have Korona as your lead party member. And then this 5th option here is, of course, to go into the dungeon. So here we are in the dungeon. We have the Castle Belzebuth music, kind of faintly in the background. If you go into the menu here, there's the examine command, there's items, no inventory so far. Equipment. Korona is equipped with the Black Demon Sword Osiris, no surprise there, and cannot unequip him. She has a ribbon on her head, which gives 1 defense and 2 spirit. Magical girl clothes give 2 defense, and shoes, which also give 2 defense. You can take those off if you want. You have 2 accessory slots. Also, the ribbon is an accessory, which you can put in an accessory slot. You can also put accessories in any other slot that you want. However, anything that is specific to a slot can only go in that slot. Also, accessories cannot go on weapon and shield slot, but head, body, and feet, those can all take accessories. So far, we have no magic and skills. Status, you'll see your starting stats. They're pretty low. You'd expect that, level 1. Korona's special ability here is the Pact. Basically, on normal attacks, when she hits an enemy, it says she steals magic energy, but really what it does is, whenever she hits something with her normal attack, for every 10 damage she does, she recovers 1 MP to a minimum of 1 gain. So if you do less than 10 damage, you still get 1. We have our item index. There's a lot of question marks in here for now, because no items except for what she comes equipped with. It is for Osiris. His attack power there is listed as question marks. The description says it grows along with the Pact Holder. Basically, Osiris' attack is 2 plus 2 times Korona's level. So every level Korona gains, Osiris gains 2 attack power. Which is good because he scales up as you get further into the game, and you can't use any other weapon as Korona. There's the magical girl clothes. There's the shoes. You can see the 2 defense there. You can also see on the left, or the right here, this is equipable by Ko for Korona. As you get more party members, it will show additional indicators for them if they can use it. For now, it will only show Korona. Monster index is, of course, blank for now because we haven't seen any monsters. Manual goes back to the manual. And then over at the right, this is exit, which has options of go to the DDDD title, exit the game, or quitting, basically. So here we have our dungeon. We can press left and right to go around. We can press down to turn around 180 degrees. Press up to move forward. It's pretty standard, whatever. On ordinary tiles, you have a 1 in 100 chance of encountering enemies. Here we have slimes. Here we just say attack. Korona attacks a slime. Slime takes 6 damage. Slime is defeated. Slime covers over Korona. Korona dodged the attack. Here you have your first option is normal attack. Second option is skills, which we have none. Third option is items, which we have none. And the fourth is to run away, which is kind of pointless here. Slimes are weak. 6 damage. It's dead. Monster is defeated. You gain 4 experience and 2 coins. So now if I check the monster dictionary, you'll see the slime appears here. Level 1, 5 hit points, 7 attack, 2 defense, 2 agility, 1 spirit, 3 luck. Weak against fire, resistant to martial arts attacks, 2 experience, 1 coin. We don't know what it drops. And the description, yes, the monsters have a little description at the bottom for flavor. This is saying, these are the standard weakest monsters in RPGs, and they just can't get ahead in life. Anyway, this door is locked. We need the copper key to continue. So we have to go over down to the other doorway here. And here's another monster. This is an orc. These are the strongest monsters on the floor. I'm going to try fighting it. The orc says something about an orc that doesn't fly is just an orc. Korona takes 9 damage. That's a lot. Korona hits the orc for 2 damage. That's not a lot. Orc takes 3 damage. Orc is smoking a cigar. Spirit +1. Ideally, you want to see them doing that because it means they're not attacking. Orc used a body slam. Korona takes 9 damage. And there's another 9 slash, and... yeah. You probably don't want to fight orcs when you're on level 1. The party is wiped out. And that's game over. It takes you back to the title. So basically, when you're just starting out, you want to be careful about what you fight. You want to stick close to the entrance so you can go heal as needed. This is not one of those RPGs where the starting enemies are not a threat. So in the interest of time, I've skipped ahead a little bit. Korona is now level 4, and you'll see that Osiris is now providing 10 attack rather than 4. Korona has learned something called Korona Strike, which does slashing damage to one enemy. That's an interesting thing about damage types in this game. Your normal attack is always just typeless damage. Nothing is either resistant to it or weak against it. However, most or all of your skills that do damage have some kind of type associated with them, so most of Korona's skills are either slashing damage or fire damage, like blaster and gun blazing are fire. So things will be either resistant to or weak against them. Try out Korona Strike here on an orc. You get a little animation. It's nothing too fancy, but it's kind of nice. However, that did spend 10 of Korona's MP. If I just attack normally now. Frog kick. 19 damage. She recovers 1 MP. 17 damage. That's another 1. And slowly recovering magic back. Notice you will sometimes miss. Enemies do have an evasion value, which helps them dodge attacks. Enemies can also miss, but that depends on their hit rate, not on your stats. Similarly, their dodging depends on their evasion rate and not on your stats. Yes, monsters can come in 1, 2, or 3 groups. When you're at particularly low levels, like just starting out, you'll only see 1 group at a time. And you'll only see 2 monsters per group just starting out. But once you start getting a few levels, start getting other characters, you can see up to 3 groups of monsters with up to 4 monsters per group. The orcs are kind of beating me up because they're jerks like that. So I'll drink one of these prototype potions. That is recover 10. Not terribly impressive. So even at level 4, orcs are still kind of a pain. Let's go into menu here. Let's eat a taiyaki. Those heal 30. And up to not quite full health, but pretty close. We do also have a map at this point. The map will show you everywhere on the floor that you've been. The maps are generally fairly accurate, but they won't show things like secret doors, fake walls, some of the traps, special events, treasure chests. But it does show this little thing ahead of us. There's a swirly thing on the floor there. When I move forward, it didn't do anything this time. But basically, when you step on one of these, it will randomly change which direction you're facing. This just happened to randomly switch back to north. So I can keep going here, but I could have been facing in any of these 4 directions. And you'll notice the door to the east there. There's only a door on the west side of the wall. You can go through from here back to the entry room, but you cannot go the other way. From this side, it's just a wall. You can't go through it. Now, as I mentioned, the map is mostly accurate, so are your eyes, but not always perfectly so. Because here we see a wall. In front of us, we see a wall. Even if I go into the menu and examine, it says nothing special. Or actually, it just says he took a close look around the area. But it doesn't tell us anything. But if I press forward, that wall is fake. You can go right through it. Straight through that passage to the other side. This lets us skip 2 obligatory battles behind these doors here. In addition to the normal 1 in 100 chance of running into monsters as you're going around, certain tiles will always have an encounter, and the game likes to put them behind doorways. Let's heal back to full health, because here in front of us we have a signpost that indicates there's some kind of special event will happen here. That showed up where early on this floor, there are 4 spots we had to activate a thing that created the red key, which allows us to get to the western side of the floor through this door. Here, it indicates there's a boss battle. Our first boss is Yuka. She tells us if Korona wins, Yuka will join the party. And here we go. I believe I mentioned earlier it was kind of a shame that Yuka's battle music from the first game does not get used in Korona 2. Turns out that's not quite true. They use it here. Start with Korona Strike. Pretty good damage. Yuka is defending, but defending does not help until after your action. So because Korona attacked before Yuka defended, it did full damage. Yuka attacks with her Exorcism Rod there. Yuka is not much of an attacker. Have enough for 1 more Korona Strike. And here, Yuka is using the Genbu Mirror's Barrier. Now if I attack at this point, which I shouldn't do, but I'm going to just to show what happens. Mirror goes off at light. Korona takes 10 damage. Now that wears off after 1 turn, but you do not want to attack when the mirror is active. There, she just used it again, so I'll use a potion. And here we just basically keep going until one or the other runs out of health. Korona Strike obviously does a lot more damage than Korona's normal attack, because Yuka has high defense. And the way skill multipliers work is that affects your attack power when using it. There, Yuka used her special attack that she saw in the special attack she has as the final boss in the first game. Doesn't look nearly as fancy here, but it does make the screen flash, and hurts a lot more than anything else she can do. She's using the mirror again, so we'll heal. There's that slash. Got enough MP back to use Korona Strike again, and Yuka is defeated. 200 experience, 50 coins, and she drops an anti-paralyze. And Yuka now joins the party. If she fills in that slot there because there's an empty space in the party. She starts out at level 3 with one skill that's Genbu Gate that raises someone's defense, works in combat. Her special ability is Reflect. When she gets hit with a physical attack, it reflects a small amount of that to the attacker. Yuka does learn healing skills, but not until level 5. At this point, we can come through here, and this is where the stairs down are. If we go downstairs, we now have stairs up here. Let's see, do not have the map for this floor, so can't see what's here. There's a door, this opens out into the hallway, and we'll see there's new monsters here. Each floor has its own set of monsters, and they get progressively more difficult. That's doing 6 damage. Mirror reflects some of it. And the Deadly Spawn recovered 1 HP because that's a draining attack. That did 5 damage to her. Raised Korona's defense. Korona attacks. That's a sleeping attack, didn't work. I'll boost Yuka's defense also. But as you can see already, the monsters here are significantly harder than the ones on floor 1. I'll have Yuka attack. It's not going to hurt much, but it's something. Yeah, Yuka did 1 damage. And all that, and there's only 1 down, so yeah. But anyway, every character has a different set of skills, different special abilities, different stat distributions. Korona is pretty well balanced with high attack. Yuka has a lot of defense and spirit, but very little attack and speed. Leia has a ton of attack and good spirit, moderately good attack, not so good defense. And everyone has all different abilities. Like, Leia has the power of determination, where once per battle, if she would be knocked out, she instead survives with 1 HP. Niall has a trap disarming ability, because this place is full of traps, especially as you get further down. Yeah, Korona gained a level, so we get this music when you gain a level. Levels gains are randomized, they vary from character to character, but here Korona's getting 12 health, 7 MP, 3 attack, 1 defense, 1 agility, 2 spirit, and 1 luck. And learn Korona Voltage. If I go into the abilities quickly here. Korona Voltage raises her attack power during battle, so that definitely comes in handy. See how close Yuka is to level. 55. That's pretty close. But for now, I'm really not ready for this floor. But in any case, the dungeon continues down multiple floors, the monsters get stronger each floor. Each floor has one of your allies as a boss. When you beat her, she joins you. You could then, once you have enough player characters, switch the parties around, get different configurations, make whatever group you think is most effective for what you're trying to do, or just pick whoever you like the best. And eventually you get down to floor 8, and beat Noel to finish things out. Or do you? It's kind of a tradition in this game that the end of things is not the end, and you had the end of the Korona storyline, and then suddenly a Playa storyline appears. You finish out the Playa storyline, and suddenly you get an epilogue and this whole bonus game. You finish the bonus game by beating Noel, and then a way to a secret floor 9 appears, with one more character to beat. I wonder who it could be. In any case, as I said, I'm not going to do a full playthrough now. I might decide to come back and do this later on, but for now this is going to be the end of the Magical Bringer Korona the movie series. This has been Felon. I hope you enjoyed it. The whole series is archived in a playlist if you want to go back, start from the beginning, or go to any particular parts of it. And next time I'm going to be starting a new game that will be in the style of what we have here, but designed like that as the main game to begin with, has more of a storyline. In this dungeon, it's here, there's technically a story. The story is basically come fight through things and beat Noel for fun. But for now, this has been Arafellan. Hope you enjoyed, and come back next time for something new. Hope to see you then.